Welcome to the Intercourse Show. I'm your host, Mr. B. Today we have a very interesting topic for you. We're talking relationships once again, and we always revert to our relationship expert, Kevin Samuels. Rest in peace to the late, great Kevin Samuels. He asked this particular question: are modern women entitled and crazy? Now, to some, this question is probably offensive, but to a lot of men, it's kind of the sentiment that some of them have. So he tackles this question with the young lady and as a topic, and we'll go ahead and review the video to see you know how that conversation played out. Now, in the video, I believe he's speaking to a 28-year-old modern woman who is believing that she should be entitled to receive a high value man, and so she thinks that she measures up to what the high value man is looking for. And therefore, she is making the case that she should be able to have one of those. It's just that the dating pool have a limited number of those type of men. So Kevin attempts to, I guess, help her out. So let's go ahead and jump into the video and see what comes of it.
Hello.
Hi, Brandy.
Hi, how are you doing?
I am good. Save me from that last phone call. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
That was, that was different, but I mean, everybody has a story.
Everybody has a story, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Do you have a child?
Yes, I do. I'm married.
Okay.
I'm actually a newlywed.
Cool.
But I'm actually married to the father of my child. But I was calling in because I do agree with you to a certain extent. I actually wanted to be with the father of my child. So we just had some things that we had to work out spiritually, because we were both very young when we conceived my son. But I would say that I don't think it's a lost cause for women who have a child, depending on the type of woman that they are, because I feel like there are still men that find value in women who have a child.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
28. How many men, high value men, do you actually interact with on a daily basis?
I mean, my grandfather's one. I have uncles who are high value men.
Okay, but hold on, man. Hold on. Mm-hmm. Your grandfather's married to your grandmother, right?
My grandmother actually passed, but yes,
you get the point. So the men in your family don't count.
Okay, well, I've been in circles, yes, where I've been around high value men and
no. The question was very specific. On a daily or weekly basis, how many high value men are you interacting with? See, you can feel this way all you want to, but you don't know. I know.
Okay.
But listen.
Okay. I'm not saying that you don't know.
Okay. No. See, this talking over thing, does not do. Why do y'all try to talk over me?
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to talk over you. I apologize. It was weird on the Zoom call how it's like overlapping, but I'm sorry.
Okay,
sir.
But you hear me when I'm speaking because I hear you.
Okay.
Why do you think your feelings override what I know from other men?
No. I think that you're misunderstanding me, but I mean, I hear you. What I'm saying is that I agree with you. I've experienced both scenarios, but I was saying that I don't think it's necessarily a lost cause for women who have a child.
Yes, it is. Okay. Listen, see, and when you do this, man, you give women false hope.
Okay.
Let me explain to you why it's a lost cause as it stands.
Okay.
The men I deal with are the clients or the men that these women want.
Okay.
The men I work with are the men these women want. And they don't want women with children.
Okay.
And you're trying to balance that against what you feel.
No. I honestly,
you kept saying, I feel it's not a lost cause. Ma'am, you're 28. I'm not trying to be rude. You're newlywed. Yeah. That's cool. You're 28. You're not old enough to know. You know, and you're not around. Okay. You're not around enough men. How long you been married?
I'm a newlywed, so I just got married.
How long you been married?
For probably like 5 months.
5 months. And how long were you with your husband, fiance, boyfriend? How long y'all
Oh,
been?
we were only engaged for probably like about 6 months.
Okay,
But we were
great.
together for
But you would get how long have y'all been together total?
probably about 6 years.
6 years. So you've been with him since 22.
Yes,
So
yes,
you
sir.
have not even dated these men, ma'am. You don't know, and this is dangerous. This is what I'm saying. I know your heart's in the right place, but this is dangerous to keep telling women it's not a lost cause, because when you get off this phone, you're going back to your husband.
I understand what you're saying, Kevin. And like I
No,
said,
you
I agree.
don't. And you're still talking. No, no. Ladies, please stop listening to women like this. Her heart's in the right place, but she cannot help you. She does not have a pool of men to talk to ask them what they want. I have hundreds, and I've been dealing with men for the last 10 years. Black women, stop doing this. But do you understand this need to be right? I got a 28-year-old newlywed who's been with a man for 6 years. You ain't even old enough. And you're gonna still, well, no.
Hi, I have a question.
Sure. How old are you?
I am 33.
Any children?
I had one, but he's deceased.
Okay, sorry to hear that. What question what's your question?
Okay, so I want your opinion about, am I, dateable, I guess? Am I ready to date?
I don't know. Your son passed. Have you
Yes,
processed that fully?
I think so, but
Okay.
um,
Have you worked with a grief counselor?
I did for a short minute.
Okay. Why
Um,
just a short minute?
I guess I felt like I was over it,
That's a
like
problem.
I
That's
kind
a
of moved
problem.
on.
That's a problem.
Okay.
That's a problem because you aren't the professional to qualify to make that diagnosis. More likely, you just didn't want to do it. So,
Okay.
how long ago did your son pass?
Passed in 2012.
Okay, well, it's been quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
However, uh, if the healing or the was not complete, these things tend to show themselves other ways. Do you plan on having? How old are you?
I'm 33.
Do you plan on having any other children?
I would like to.
Okay. Well, anybody you would date, if they want to have children, they're going to have to discuss this. And one of the things a man would want to know is if you truly are past that. When was the last time you dated?
Um, I've recently been on a date not too long ago.
Okay. Um, when I'm talking about dating, I'm talking like dating towards serious relationship.
Right.
Have you had any? Okay, so your son's father, where is he?
My son's he's married in a whole different state.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, there's no reason. You don't. I mean, the passing of a child is something that I don't even want to touch because it is so sensitive. But that does not mean you just have to sit in life in amber. I would say,
Mm-hmm.
if anything, is just be open with people that you feel like have a real potential. Do you want to remarry?
I do want to be married.
Now, you weren't married to his father, right?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not.
Okay, but you do want to marry.
I do.
You need to be upfront with that, and then let that kind of guide the kind of men you're dating. But of course, the question is, why do you want to marry, and then what kind of life do you want to have? I mean, do you want to be a stay-at-home wife? Do you want to have to work, or that all the questions I typically ask.
Okay, so I do want to be married. I do want to work. I don't mind working. I don't mind being a contributor to the household.
Okay. Well, the more than anything else is being honest with where you are, what you want. At this age, you don't have any time to play, and you've already been through enough. Be
Right.
honest. I'm always a proponent of therapy. Even just ongoing therapy is maintenance. See, we often think therapy is something you do later on in life or when you're in trauma. Nope, it's something that you do just to make sure you're on task. Make sure that you're just kind of uh nothing goes off the rails. But at 33, I would say be upfront, know what you want, and what you're dating for, and don't date guys that aren't marriage minded. Don't assume things,
Right.
because there are, you know, I don't want to say that. That's what I'll say to it. I'll leave it there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night now. Bye bye.
You too.
All right. See, calls can go well. Yeah. See, for the people who are not for new here, you got to understand something. Why was I so upset? Because that that is a selfish reason to rip a father out of his children's life. What did Will Smith say at the Red Table Talk? One of the most powerful lines he said, the ability to be able to make mistakes and not fear your family will be snatched from you. That is a massive fear men have dealing with women in this Western feminist world, that the wives can decide to change their mind and then all of a sudden snatch your entire family from you and make you a weekend dad. That's a horrible thing to do to a man. And here's the thing. I don't think anybody thinks that woman I was talking to was a VP of mergers and acquisitions. She's got a job somewhere. She ain't rich. I don't need to see how tall you are and this and that. I will tell you this. You could be attractive, but you got an ugly spirit. Here's what it comes down to. This broadcast was about single mother versus baby mama. If you want to deal with a man who has his has his life on the ball, if you think these questions I asked were tough, when a man has real money on the line, real stuff on the line, a lot of stuff you'll never even hear these questions. High value men aren't just going to throw it all to the air just for a piece of tail. And far too many women think they're cute and they'll just say, okay, I'll just have a man come in and take care of me. I mean, it's troubling to hear women say that they left their man to go be on welfare or left him because, he wouldn't work, but he's here all the time. I said it before and I'll say it again. Black community, if you can't have black couples, you can't have black nothing. And we got to get this thing straightened out between the people from 36 to 60 years old. Those are the people. That's the group of people that need to get their shit together. We need to get our shit together in this group. The younger folks, they're getting better information than any of us have. But that's where the real obstinate group of people are, the hard feelings, the crazy ass beliefs. And again, you're talking about a group of people who the dollar doesn't circulate but 6 hours in our community. The woman that I hung up on, she can't tell me she has property, money, anything else. You are better living with a man than without him. Let's talk about it. Let's just say the dude, he wouldn't keep a job and we risk foreclosure. So you have no forgiveness in your heart. The man can't make any mistakes, can't make any failures. See, she didn't say he wasn't there. And he has to be somewhat stable if he's coming by every 2 or 3 days. You notice when I even said, well, the defining question I need you ladies to evaluate, were your daughters happier with their daddy in the house or out, and she would not give it to him. They're always happy. Really? That's a wow. Look at how we look at each other. So you're talking about black women aren't protected and this and that. Well, when you have disdain and low level contempt for your black male counterpart, when they got to be perfect, and even that ain't good enough. Will Smith got cheated on. The guy who didn't work got kicked out of the house. I had a bipolar woman who's a fucking grocery clerk talking about leaving her. I mean, like, sisters, are y'all hearing this? When are y'all gonna start talking to each other and start saying, you know what? Maybe we need another side of the story. Maybe there's something to this, stuff that these guys are talking about. Maybe they all ain't hurt. Who hurt you or this or that? I mean, everybody can't be crazy, right?
All right, let's talk about this because this conversation highlights a mistake a lot of people make, not just in dating, but in life. You've got a 28-year-old woman with a child who speaks very confidently about what men want, how men think, what men value, and what men should be looking for in relationships. The interesting part, she admits she has very little actual dating experience, and Kevin notices that immediately. Because throughout the conversation, she's speaking with the certainty of someone who's spent years navigating relationships, learning from different situations, and observing patterns firsthand. But when Kevin starts digging deeper, it becomes clear that much of her understanding comes from assumptions, opinions, and things she's heard rather than things she's personally experienced. That's where the conversation becomes fascinating, because Kevin keeps asking a simple question. How do you know? Not what do you believe? Not what have you heard? Not what sounds reasonable. How do you know? And honestly, that's the question she struggles with. Because there's a difference between having ideas about relationships and having experience with relationships. There's a difference between understanding something in theory and understanding it in practice. Kevin keeps bringing her back to that distinction. And the more she talks, the more obvious it becomes that she's built a very detailed picture of what men supposedly want without spending much time actually testing those ideas in the real world.
Shout out to my man over here for the great summary, Choice Media. He actually did a great job in stating and summarizing this particular episode. It is true. Too often there are experts, relationship experts everywhere, especially popping up on TikTok. Women who have very limited experience dating men, women who have not dated a certain type of man to know enough to speak about them, but they all have advice for the next woman to follow about what they should expect from those men and what those women should be entitled to and things of that nature. And a lot of times they're wrong. In this particular case, you saw that Kevin Samuels, being an older man who, by virtue of the craft that he does in terms of being a stylist and things of that nature for men, he's dealing with a lot of high net worth men who are clients, friends, and people who are constantly talking to them about the issues they're having in finding a certain type of mate. And based on the information that Kevin is hearing from the men that are his clients, it doesn't align with what the women are saying they want. What the men are saying they want is not aligned with what the women are saying they want. And all the women are trying to figure out, how do I appeal to a high value man? Why am I only pulling in these certain types of men? And when Kevin begins to question them as to why they're certain that they are entitled to a man when they don't even, to a high value man, when they don't even know what that man wants, it goes back to feelings. It goes back to what they've heard. It goes back to things that are completely irrelevant to what's factual, to what's actually happening, which is why they end up getting the results that they get, not to be in a relationship with those type of men. So too often it'll be a younger woman who feels like she's got life figured out, and she's telling an elderly man, Kevin was probably close to 60 before he passed away, what it is and how it should be and what's going on. And that delusion, I think, has led to the lackluster results in Black marriage and relationships working out. Because we're not properly managing each other's expectations in terms of what the man expects from the woman and what the woman expects from the man, those relationships don't tend to last, the few that actually come to fruition. And as a result, you have a lot of broken families. And from that becomes, this disorderly play between men of color and women of color. So the solution, I think, for me, has to be listening more to each other's side, but also framing realistic expectations in the minds of others. I think what Kevin did was absolutely necessary, because as would any father or father figure, he would sit the person down, the young lady down, and explain to them, I know this may be what you think men think like, but this is how men actually are. And the mere fact that you don't see these women with that sort of male perspective is indicative of the fact that maybe there was no real man, fatherly figure in their life framing what they should expect and what they should be like when it comes to the type of woman that would appeal to a man. So from the lacking of the fatherly figure to maybe their mothers being single, independent women who are probably more feministic minded, not really modeling what it's like to be a wife to a man, because that's not an example that's been set for them. Again, they are sort of reliving, I guess, whatever dysfunction may have existed in their household. If there wasn't a two-parent household, then they're accustomed to seeing a one-parent household. So they tend to see that maybe the woman does everything and they don't really see the need for the man, or the lack of appreciation for the presence of a man is lost. And all these things plays a major part. So these are things that come up, but as I see it, I think it requires some listening and obviously some dying to self on both parts, putting God first to really get on the same page. Well, that's my take. I thank you guys for listening and checking in today. I ask that you like and subscribe and stay connected to the channel if you're not already connected. But I also ask that you go ahead and leave a comment, share the video, and tell me what you think on your side about what was discussed here today. Am I wrong? Did Kevin get it wrong? Or do we have valid points? Share your thoughts. It may be enriching to our listeners. All right. Until we speak again, God bless, guys.